Hi, my name is Maureen. This is a Flow and Restore yoga class, a combination class of Vinyasa flow and restorative yoga. The emphasis is on restorative yoga, but we use the Vinyasa flow to lift our energy and discard the excess, to give you some space, to create some space so that you can really release into the restorative poses. You need a lot of props for restorative yoga, and you can get substitutes if you don't have the props that are at the studio. So let's get right into it. You'll need at least 2 blankets or folded towels, and let them be big towels. Let them be beach towels, and just fold them up initially just to sit on and lift your hips. Helpful if you have a bolster, heavy, firm, that has a certain length to it that can support often the torso. But most people don't have that at their house, so you improvise, and a rolled up second yoga mat is a option that you will then add pillows to. One of these rollers, this is the shorter one. If you have the longer one, that's going to mimic the bolster, and then we'll soften it with pillows. Have any number of pillows, 2 at a minimum, and try to get your firmer pillows, and have a couple on hand in case you need more. Blocks, yoga blocks, if you have them, they're lightweight, they're good balance. A substitute is a full toilet paper roll. So pause the video, go get these props. It's nice to be able to just transition straight away from our Vinyasa to a few warm down poses and then release. And recognize also, before we begin, that restorative yoga you should have plenty of time for. And we could spend a whole hour just doing the restorative yoga poses and holding them for a deliciously long period of time. But in the interest of giving you some exposure to a wide range of poses with your body supported and opened in various ways by these props, I will hold you for a little bit shorter period. Know that you could always pause the video if one is particularly helpful for you, and then restart it when you've had your fill. Typically, a restorative pose is held for at least 4 minutes. But because this is a shorter class, under an hour, we will reduce the amount of time that we hold in a restorative pose. All right, let's go ahead and jump right in. I'm sitting on 2 folded blankets. You can adjust. You might not need any. You might need more. You can sit cross-legged. You can lift a foot up. Really, it's about experimenting to find a position that you can hold that allows your spine to be nice and tall, your chest to be open to encourage the breath flow, and that you can sustain for a couple minutes while we center at the beginning of the practice. All right, so finding that comfortable seat, I invite you to just gather your energy and pull it within to center us before we begin our practice. One helpful way of doing that is to lower your gaze to the floor right in front of you, or close your eyes. Either way, let your hands be at ease and resting in your lap or on your thighs. Let your spine be nice and tall, shoulders broad, ears over shoulders. And just take a nice big deep breath in through the nostril and out through the mouth. And blow it out like you're blowing out a candle. And first, we attend to the body. We're slowing the body down, slowing down that forward momentum to come and gather. Come back to your center here on your mat. Again, I encourage you to take a nice, big, deep, exaggerated breath in. Really fill up the lungs, let your ribs expand, and then exhale, blow out the candle. Doing that as many times as serves you. And then we give the mind something to focus on. Instead of trying to slow the mind down, we give it a point of focus. And today I offer you this mantra. Breathing in, I calm my body. And breathing out, I calm my mind. Using those words to direct the focus of your mind and attach the statement to your breath. Breathing in, I calm my body. And breathing out, I calm my mind. Repeating that quietly to yourself. And see if upon repetition that you can have a longer, slower, deeper breath in. And likewise, a longer, slower, deeper breath out. When you've finished your next exhale, let that breath practice go. Bring your hands to meet at your heart. Set an intention for your practice. An intention, think of it as a quality, a characteristic, an aspiration, something you want more of. Often it's a single word. Take a big deep breath in. And a big deep breath out. Release your hands to your thighs. Blink your eyes open. Let's move. Hands off to the side, palms face forward. Inhale, arms out wide. Warm up with a couple of sun breaths. Meet your body where it's at. On an exhale, you turn your palms away. Your arms will match the length of your exhale. Tune in, let breath guide movement. Inhale, repeating. Big breath in, let your ribs expand. Maybe you lift your chin and reach up. When you're ready to exhale, turn your palms away. And release. Last one, make it good. Press down through sit bones. Inhale, lift up long and tall through your spine. Reach up, look up. And exhale, release. Hands down to the side. Let's engage our core. And inhale, sweep your hands up overhead and really reach up. Let the body lengthen up out of the hips. And then exhale, the right arm lowers. Keep the arms straight initially and just do the side bend with straight arms. If it works and you want more, then you just keep extending that right arm away from the body, but trying to make a line with your arms. Inhale, arms meet up overhead. Same thing, other side. Left arm down, right arm out at an angle, making this line. If you want more, you can slide that left hand away from the body, or you might keep it nearby and just pull the shoulder blades together. And then inhale, arms meet up overhead, bend at the elbows and grab opposite elbows and pull away from them. Pull away, and just tune into how that opens up your shoulders. And then I invite you to just gently twist the torso. Feel the torso and the shoulders twisting, keeping your chin in line with your heart. And come back to center and release. Send your legs out long. And pedal the feet, bending one knee at a time. Just releasing the cross-legged pose. And let's bend one knee, right knee first. And for a twist, you can add to it by crossing the knee over the midline. And you could also tuck this anchor leg underneath this opposite sit bone. Find which one of those will work for you. And then remember, rise up in a tall spine. Lift the arms up to help you. And then exhale. This hand can touch the knee, or you can wrap your elbow around the knee and twist. Draw your belly in, pull the bent leg thigh towards your torso, and twist just where it feels good. Then you press down through that left heel, and then release. Let it go. Unwind, and prepare to twist on the other side. It can, same leg can be in alignment with the hip. It can cross over, and you have the option to tuck it under. So each side might be different. Feel free to adapt and meet your body where it's at. But really press down through the heel, through the foot. Inhale, lift up nice and tall. Exhale, grab the knee with your hand or wrap your elbow around it and draw the spine up tall, pull the belly to the spine. Draw the thigh toward the rib and twist. And keep breathing and let it go. Unwind. Extend your legs long, pedal your feet. Let's come to table. And just let your body stretch out here. Swing the hips side to side. Take the shoulders in the opposite direction. Lean hips forward and open up the back. Just a little warm up. And release hips to heels for modified child's pose. Forehead touches the ground. And then inhale back to table. Tuck your toes. Lift your knees and lift your hips. And let your body warm up here a little bit in downward facing dog. Taking one heel down and bending the opposite knee. Maybe swinging the hips and rolling on the outer and the inner edge of your foot. Just tune into what feels good. Check in with your head and neck. Well, it's important to give the neck a little release. And notice where you hold tension. And then bend your knees and walk your feet to your hands. Find yourself in forward fold, Uttanasana, add a bend to the knees. Grab opposite elbows and let the upper body hang off of the lower body. And invite the upper body to sway lightly back and forth. Knees are bent. Passive opening for hamstrings, low back, and between your shoulder blades. Then release the elbows. Hands come to hips. Pull the belly to the spine and rise up with a long spine. Arms sweep out. Hands up overhead, look up. Hands touch, and release to your heart, and let it go. Let's move into our Vinyasa. We'll warm up with a slow Vinyasa to begin with, and to really focus on alignment, and then we'll continue and add poses in. If you have blocks, use them. If you don't, use your substitute, and I'll use the substitute to show you how it can help and work for us. The blocks or the block substitute frame the feet. Find Tadasana. Your feet are like the number 11. They're like the equal sign. They're inner hips width distance apart. Toes point forward. Legs are active. Think about lifting the kneecaps. Firm up the thighs. Point the tailbone down towards the ground as you lift the ribs up slightly away from your pelvis. Roll shoulders up to your ears, and then shoulder blades glide down your back and palms face forward to help them stay there. Tadasana, mountain pose. Plant your feet and inhale, lift your hands out and up, look up, Urdhva Sthasana. Turn your palms away, hinge at the hips, and bow. As you exhale, coming into a forward fold, don't forget to bend the knees as your hamstrings warm up. And then inhale, rise up halfway, long legs, long spine, long arms, and reach forward with the crown of your head. Exhale, forward fold. Use your blocks if you like. As you step the right foot back, straight leg lunge. Far behind you, hips lower, heart lifts, gaze lifts, fingers are light. Remove any props and step back, downward facing dog. Stay here for a full breath cycle or two. As you come a little deeper, lift your hips up, press the weight of the hips back towards the heels. Arms frame the ears, spine is long, legs are growing long. Inhale, shift forward to plank. Feel free to adjust until your feet and your hands are in the right place for you. And then firm up. Squeeze the thighs, squeeze your core, squeeze your glutes, strong shoulders. And you choose, knees touch the ground for half plank, or you lower in full plank. And begin to plant the lower half of your body and rise up. If your back is still tight, keep your elbows bent. If your back is warmed up, you can extend the arms long and push into full cobra. Exhale, lower, tuck your toes. Inhale, lift up to table. Exhale, lift the hips up, downward facing dog. And find the right position for your feet and your hands. Feel free to adjust. And then settle into the pose and breathe into the pose. We stay in down dog for a bit. We rest here a bit.
And on your next inhale, the right leg rises long behind you. Extend, lengthen. Exhale, bend the knee, pull it to your ribs, and swing or step it forward. Find your straight leg lunge. Lower your hips, lift your heart, lift your gaze, and then press off back foot to join front foot, back in Uttanasana. Lift the hips up, point the crown of the head down. And now we prepare to rise as you draw the belly to the spine and reverse swan dive, arms out wide and up high. Look up, Urdhva. Hands touch. Exhale, release to your heart, Anjali Mudra, and then to your hips. Take a breath in and a breath out. Find mountain pose, plug in, feet plugged into the earth, stable, steady as you inhale. Lift up, reach up to the sky, look up. Exhale, hinge at the hips, bow. Come into your forward fold, your Uttanasana. Inhale, lift up halfway, long spine, reach the crown of your head in front of you. Exhale, forward fold, and step the left foot back, straight leg lunge. Lower the hips, lift the heart, be light on hands, and then lower the back knee and lift up into Anjaneyasana. And you might lift your gaze, and you might look up to your thumbs. Lower your gaze if you have lifted it, and lower the right arm towards the right hip as you do a side bend to the right. Stay balanced. Inhale, lift your arm up overhead. Exhale, hands come down, frame the front foot, back leg lifts, and you step back downward facing dog. Come a little deeper into this pose as you press your hips up and then press your hips back towards your heels. Pull ribs towards your thighs, lower heels to the ground. Spread your hands out wide like a starfish. Arms frame your ears. Adho Mukha Shavasana, downward facing dog. Inhale, shift forward into plank. And try to straighten your body. Engage all the muscles, hug muscle to bone. And try to straighten and keep breathing to help you sustain this. As we exhale, lower. Elbows close to ribs to build your triceps. And immediately move right in. Inhale up to your back bend. Come into as gentle or as deep a back bend as your body is calling for. And exhale, lower, tuck toes, and repeat in downward facing dog. You can come up through your table or come up through your plank. And find a little rest here. Slow the heart rate. Pull the breath in. Let the breath reach all the way down to your toes and then move back up through the body, bringing fresh oxygen. On an inhale, your left leg rises long behind you. Really reach and stretch. Exhale, bend the knee. Pull it in and step it forward. Sink the hips, lift the heart. Feel strong in this asymmetric pose. Lower the back knee down to the ground and immediately inhale, arms up. You can keep your eyes level with the ground for more stability or challenge your balance and look up. Anjaneyasana. Return your gaze parallel to the ground. Left hand lowers and side bend to the left. Inhale, back up to center. And just an extra challenge. Check in and see if you can lift that back right foot off the ground and maybe reach back. To grab that foot or to point towards it. Lower it back, hands meet up overhead. Exhale, hands float down to frame the front foot. Lift the back knee, press off back foot to join the front foot. Forward fold, Uttanasana. Lift the hips, point the crown of the head down. And inhale. Arms out as you rise. Reach up, look up. Urdhva. Hands touch. Exhale them to your heart. Release them to your sides. Take a breath in. And a big breath out. And we continue. Inhale. Arms out and up. Shake out your energy. Turn your palms away. Hinge at the hips. Let it tip out as you bow forward. Inhale, lift up. Ardha Uttanasana. Reach the crown of the head long as you pull the shoulder blades together and down your back. Exhale, forward fold. And step the right foot back. Straight leg lunge. Lower the hip. Feel the strength in the legs and in the hips. And then spin the back foot to connect fully with the ground. We're rising up into warrior two. So plant your feet. And inhale, lift the body, windmill the arms out, and look over the front left fingers. Feel free to change or adapt your feet or your legs to meet this pose. Sink your hips, be strong in your legs, and draw up from pelvic floor to navel to sternum. Open wide across the front of your body. And then to pivot out of it, you pivot onto the ball of the back foot. Right hand meets left hand. Hands come down to frame the front foot. Step back, downward facing dog. Stay here for a breath or two. Create this upside down V with your body. Really take advantage of this pose as we breathe and slow the heart rate. Next, inhale, shift forward to planks. Squeeze everything, draw your energy to your midline. And exhale, lower chest, belly, rise up. Inhale, back bend. Exhale, lower, tuck toes. And we push up to meet in downward facing dog. And we rest. Deepen into this pose as much as your body tolerates as you pull your ribs towards your thighs. Protect your wrists by pressing in the index finger and thumb, and keep the breath long and slow and smooth. Inhale, right leg rises up high, lengthen. Exhale, bend the knee, pull it in, step it forward. Sink the hips, lift the heart. And now we prepare to rise up into warrior two. Spin the back foot to completely connect with the mat. And inhale, lift up. Exhale, windmill out and open. Sink down a little bit deeper. Adjust your feet as you need to. Look out over right fingertips. Try to keep the back arm as high as the front arm. And engage. Strong legs. Lift up. Pelvic floor to navel to sternum. Open out wide across the chest. Pull the shoulder blades together. Warrior two. Pivot on the ball of the back foot. Left hand meets right hand. Hands frame the foot. As you press off back foot to join the front foot. Forward fold, lift the hips. Crown of the head points down. Let your hands meet behind your sacrum. Interlace. And then lift the arms away from the body. Allow the shoulder opening just to where it's comfortable. And then slowly bring the hands back down towards the sacrum. Hands are at hips, elbows point up. Press down, rise up, lift those arms up, look up, hands touch. Exhale, release to your heart. And then down to your hips. Let's take a wide-legged stance and do Prasada Paratanasana as we begin to transition from our Vinyasa to restorative. Feet are parallel, toes point forward. Think long spine. We're not bending at the ribs, we are bending at the hip crease. Take a breath in. Exhale, hinge at the hip crease. Let the spine be long as you bow forward. When the spine is close to parallel with the ground, let hands come underneath shoulders. And just tune in there. And then walk your hands over to the left ankle, to whatever feels good. And maybe those hands pull your body a little closer. Finding that, the right edge. Right amount of challenge and the right amount of ease. Come back to center. Hands go to the right ankle. Your spine can round, your head can bow. Just let this be a opening in this inner thigh. Come back, hands come back to center. And now just bow the head, round the spine, and invitation is to grab these opposite elbows. Let the head be heavy. Invite the whole upper body to sway. And just let gravity do the job here. Maybe invite the head to move loosely, lightly. Release the elbows, hands come to hips, bend the knees slightly as you press down to rise up. And then just heel toe in a couple times to come down to the ground in Malasana. Hands at your heart. As you sink and press elbows inside knees, keep your muscles active here as you lift up. If this is really easy for you, lift your torso up, lift your pelvis up a little higher. And if you're tight, then you only go down to as far as you can. And then hands touch the ground, one knee down, the other knee down. Let's just check in with our hips with a Paratanasana. Let the soles of the feet meet. You decide how close these sit bones are to, the heels are to your sit bones. We're going to fold forward. Hands can be at your ankles or beside you at your hips to help you press the heart forward. Inhale, lift up and lengthen. Exhale, hinge forward. Try to keep the spine long. Try not to bend and bow in the spine for this. Keep your head in alignment with the spine. Maybe these hands press into the ground to push your heart forward. And just tune in. It's a hip opener and you're strengthening the low back. And then release, let go. I want to do that same one on your back. So, lay your body down. Bent knees. And then lift your feet up, let the soles of the feet touch. Release them down to the ground and then let the knees fall. If this isn't comfortable for these knees to be unsupported, then place the block or the substitute underneath the thighs wherever it's comfortable. Palms face up once you establish the position that you can find some ease in. This is Supine Paratanasana. And you slow down. We're using this as a transition pose. After that movement, you're slowing your body down to tune in to the flow of your breath. Come out of this pose, you're going to place your hands on the outsides of your thighs and lift the knees up to point toward the ceiling. Move to any props if you use them. And then roll to one side as we come into our first restorative pose. So it is supported crocodile pose. Let my dog out. So grab, if you have a bolster, you will use the bolster. And you're going to place it vertical on your mat. If you have a block, this will be for your forehead. You'll lay the body down from your hips to your collarbones, and your forehead will rest on the block. Now, if you don't have a bolster, you might have one of these rulers or an extra yoga mat, and you can add to it with pillows lying around. And if you don't have a block, you could use this soft toilet paper roll. So let's just, let me demonstrate and get into it. Try to get the pose as stable as possible. Your weight will stabilize it. Lowering hips all the way up to your collarbone onto your support. And forehead touches this prop. You will use two props if that does not feel good on your neck. if your neck doesn't want that level. So you just experiment. Once you get the body supported, then you come onto the inside of the knee and the inside of the foot, and then do the other leg. And it's not so much about bent legs. So if you can add a little length to it, we use the bent knees to help get to the inside edge of the foot and the inside of the knee. And then hands frame wherever it's comfortable for your shoulders. Typically, the elbows are bent at 90 degrees and palms face down. And this supported crocodile, you stay here. This supported crocodile is a really good restorative pose to tune into your breath. So you sense when you take a breath in, your abdomen expands into your support. And as you exhale, you may or may not, the abdomen may or may not pull in towards the spine. So really just tuning in into that rhythm. We want to encourage smooth breath, releasing any jaggedness or any agitation in the breath. And slow it down. And you can see if you can release any pause between it. As the inhale ends, you just switch streams and the exhale flows. These are just suggestions. Restorative yoga really helps us to tune into our bodies, what our body's like. So adjust, readjust, and readjust again until you find just the right position that you can release into and trust that these props will hold the weight of your body, and that you're going to benefit from the body being in this supported pose. We're going to prepare to transition to come out of this pose. The first thing I encourage you to do is just lift one leg up and bring it back into alignment with the hip. So the knee is pointing down towards the ground, the toes are tucked. And then hands frame your body near your heart as you press yourself up into a form of table. We're going to move right into a supported twist so you can keep everything as is. Bring this one side, one hip flush with the base of your support. And your legs can be in a Z pose or your knees can be stacked. I suggest you just experiment until you find what's right for you. And then I want you to get your hands to frame the support, and you add that twist. Take it to the deepest twist that feels good for you, and then lift up long and tall through the spine and lay the torso down. On your support, turn your head towards the bent knees initially, and let your hands frame the pillow. If this is right, stay right here. If you want more, then you can turn your head away from the bent knees and offer yourself a deeper twist. If this is already too much, then you might lift your support with your prop, adding a little ramp, which means your twist won't be as deep. You're going to find what's just right for you. Feel free to pause the video until you get the right body position. And you can time it yourself. Ideally, a restorative pose is held for 4 minutes. Really, in a world without constraints, you would hold it until tension releases. So doing as best you can to find ease in that twist. Adjusting your legs, coming out of the pose entirely. Moving your hips away, if that feels good, to get a little bit more space. You're going to adjust this pose to meet your body and its capacities and its limits. So whatever is happening for you and your body today might be different tomorrow. One more breath or twist on this side. When you finish that exhale, you're going to use your hands to lightly press your body up to transition poses in restorative. You move so as not to disturb yourself. Place your hip flush with the bolster or the supports on the other side. And then add the twist, adding as much as feels good. Inhale, lift and lengthen through the spine, and then lay the torso down. You're trying to lay the front of your torso down, and then turn your head toward the bent knees first. Option to turn it away. And, you know, each side is different, so you might experiment and remove the assist and deepen. And just rest here, release here. Knowing that you are adding the twist, but you're really trying to encourage your body to release and soften and lengthen as you breathe. Feel free to lower lights in the room that you're in or to add music, your own favorite music in the background. And one more breath in this pose. Take your time. And when you finished your exhale, you're going to press your hands into the mat to help you lift your torso. And then you're going to remove these props. If you have an extra rolled up mat, you might use it. We're going to place either a rolled blanket or a rolled mat horizontally across the mat. Likewise, you could use a blanket, a towel. We want it, fold the towel in half. We want a long snake. Fold the towel in half and then roll up the long side, not the short side. So you can recognize that if you have a taller or thicker snake, this is going to be a deeper opening. So this is opening up the back, either using that rolled towel or that rolled extra yoga mat. I want you first to place your shoulder blades on the mat. So in essence, it will be lifting your sternum up. So not your upper shoulders. We want to work at opening this thoracic part of our spine because that's the least mobile part. So what's helpful is to lower on the elbows and then lower the back down. You should feel those shoulder blades connect with your prop. Arms go above the prop and then you lay your head back. If this doesn't feel good, you can use one of your blankets as a pillow underneath your head. If it's okay, then you're going to be getting a little inversion with your heart raised above your head. But you're going to find ease and comfort for your neck. Your knees can stay bent. You could take feet out to either edge and let the knees fall in upon one another. Or you could extend your legs long and see how that feels. You could also put a little rolled blanket or pillow underneath your knees. That just supports your low back. And you should really feel that this is lifting your sternum up. It's not underneath your upper shoulders. That's a different pose entirely. And there should be no strain for your arms to extend out to a T. If your arms are having to be above your shoulders, that's going to be an opening and an effort. And the intention of this pose is to open up the thoracic spine and rib cage and across the front of the chest. With your whole front body so open, encourage the breath to come all the way into the belly. If you can feel the abdomen rise and inflate like a balloon on the inhale, and then fall back towards the spine on the exhale. And one more breath cycle in this pose. Really try to enjoy being in the body and enjoy your breath. If this feels particularly good on your back, pause this video and stay here. Now we'll prepare to come out of it by bending knees if they aren't already bent. And then carefully rolling to one side so you don't add strain to your neck and pressing up. All right. And now I'm going to offer you a pose. It has different versions. If you have blocks, they're the legs. The extra yoga mat could be what your legs rest on, or you could, if you have a bolster or the roller, you could put that. I'll just show you it in different combinations. Again, after you get settled and find the right position, you can pause the video. You come close to it with your hips, and then you place the calves on this little support. And then you add a little space, legs or hips with distance apart. Feel comfortable that this setup is going to hold the weight of your legs. Let the feet be at ease. And then your arms are off to the side. This is legs up the bolster. Now, if you don't have these props, then I'll come out of this and I'll encourage you to go get a chair. Any chair will do, your desk chair, although not a chair with wheels. And you face the seat of the chair towards you. And again, you get your hips pretty close to the base of the chair, place calves, and hopefully there's a little space for you to release the feet. Lift your weight up by pressing into your elbows until you get your spine in alignment. And then release into the pose. Let the legs be at ease, let the muscles be at ease. Stand down. And if you don't have a chair, then you can always do legs up the wall. We'll hold it here for another minute. And if it took you a while to get the right props to find this pose, then pause the video. Give yourself the time to release into this restorative pose. This pose helps your lymphatic system and your adrenal system. Staying here for one more breath cycle. When you finished your exhale, you have a choice. We're moving into the final pose of Shavasana for this practice. You could stay here if this pose is particularly delightful. Or you could come into the traditional Shavasana pose, which is lying flat on the mat. If you do choose to come out of this pose, you pull the knees towards your chest and just feel that juxtaposition and then roll to one side. And you might need to press yourself up to remove whatever was holding your low legs. If you want to come into full Shavasana. If any of the props really help you, feel free to add them in. Any of those pillows could go underneath knees or could go underneath your neck. Or you could choose to do Shavasana without any props.